Bear O'Clock with a little spin-off series called Flavour of the Month, kindly brought to you by the Little Leeds Beer House. My name is Mark, and joining me, as always, is my beer buddy Steve. Hello, Steve.
Hi, Mark. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, mate. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Very good. This is a monthly thingy where every month we're going to sample a beer that's either creating a buzz or it's just something that's different that's been released that we fancy drinking outside of the normal show.
That's it, because we plan meticulously for that normal show, mate, and it's always difficult to squeeze in some of these new releases. So, and we had so much fun doing our last little spin-off. We thought, what can we do? What can we play around with? So here we are, Flavour of the Month.
Yeah, because it always seems like something pops up during a season and we have to do it, and so we bump something else that we wanted to drink.
Oh, yeah. Or we squeeze it in, or we double up on a show. That's, stranger things have happened.
So expect to have these in your luggols every month. This month is a new release of not quite a new beer from my personal favourite London brewery, Beavertown. It's fresh from the can. It's Beavertown Appellation Bramley Apple Saison. And you'll have noticed I said this episode was brought to you by the Little Leeds Beer House. Those guys have kindly agreed to help us out with this spin-off thing this month. Steve's already getting into his can. And we're very grateful to the Little Leeds guys. But this is only a short little spin-off thingy, so let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get straight in. It's a beer that's had, let's be honest, it's had mixed reviews online since it was released earlier on in the month. So I'm quite keen to give this one a go.
Lovely carbonation straight out the can, as you would expect.
Oh, yeah, it's a lovely sort of golden orangey colour in the glass as well.
Mm-hmm.
Big thick head.
Yeah.
A couple of fingers worth of head on that.
Nice saison-y nose.
Yeah, it's got that funk. It's got the saison funk, as you would expect.
Yeah.
But the apple's definitely coming through on the aroma there for me.
Yeah, I'm getting slight tartness on mine.
Yeah.
Mine is literally straight out of the fridge where it's been for the last week, so
yeah,
it'll take a little while to warm up.
Now, obviously, I'm sure fans of the normal show, mate, will be chuckling at the fact that we're doing a saison. Because people will know that I'm a little bit saison adverse, but this is this month's flavour of the month. So should we get stuck into it, mate?
Yeah, I'm just grateful it's not an IPA. So
yeah.
Cheers, pal.
Cheers.
That has a real ciderness about it. It's like a dry cider.
Yeah, I'm not a massive cider fan, so I've not really got a point of reference there. But there is a dryness. I'm surprised that there's not as much carbonation in there as it kind of seemed as though there would be when it was poured out into the glass. But it's sweet. It's got a sweet finish. It's got the kind of those saison features that I love so much.
Yeah, it's slightly sweet, nice dryness at the end. It's got the big apple cider flavours to it. Not much of that saison-y yeast character coming through on the profile. On the flavour profile, to me, you can still get a little bit on the nose. But like you say, the carbonation isn't really there on the palate.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit disappointing. That might have lifted the tartness a little bit. Unthickened the cideriness, the vinous.
Yeah, it's very tart and tangy at the end. And as you say, it's quite sticky as well on the finish. And yeah, maybe a little bit more of those funky flavours coming through would have balanced that out a little bit.
Yeah, but if you're coming to something because you want those big apple flavours, they haven't done too badly. And let's face it, the cider character is a very apple character, and you get very dry beers. I mean, this is basically, for me, I could give this to my wife, and I'm sure she'd love it.
Yeah.
She might be put off.
Big ABV, isn't it? 8.7%.
Oh, is it? Bloody hell.
Yeah. It's a very big beer.
Yeah, I was ready to polish this off.
Yeah, you wouldn't want too many of these, would you?
Anyway, it's very drinkable, I have to say. I mean, I don't mind cider. I used to drink cider before I started drinking beer.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's a bit Strongbow-y.
Oh, really?
Bit Magnus-y.
See now, Strongbow is the reason why I can't drink cider. Because I had a horrific experience on it when I was 16.
Were you in a graveyard drinking cider?
No. I wasn't. I ended up very, very ill after it, and ever since then I've not been able to go anywhere near cider. So But this is, it's welcome. It's a refreshing beer. It's interesting the time of year that this has been released, because for me this is almost a perfect summer sipper. It's been nice and refreshing in the summer. This would that it's been released kind of in the midst of winter. A strange one
Well,
that.
we had this kind of conversation. I think we may have touched it on the Beer Nation thing that we released before Christmas. Our Christmas beers are, winter warmers. Always got to be dark beers.
Mm.
But this is high ABV. It's a bit boozy. It would certainly warm you up if you had a couple. So it's not not a bad shout for winter. But if it was a little bit lighter ABV, if the apple cideriness, the vinous wasn't as in your face, I think this would be a lovely beer like for the summer, like you say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So little bit of background about the beer then.
Okay.
Let's get into this a little bit. So Beavertown really need no introduction. Based in Tottenham in North London, turning 4 in a few weeks' time, and obviously most well known for that train beer staple Gamma Ray that everybody loves to drink. This beer in particular, it's the 3rd year of release now, and it seems to be forming part of what now seems to be their range of specials, which is these black cans with the wraparound sticker that's on them that seems to be coming out every month. When it was originally released in 2013, this was called Barley Champagne.
Yes.
However, yeah, they received a cease and desist letter from the Champagne region. Because of an appellation, which is a legally defined and protected geographical indication used to identify where grapes for a wine were grown. So Beavertown thought, what a great name for the beer, let's call it Appellation. And thus the beer was created. So like I say, this is the 3rd year it's been released. As far as I know, this is the first time it's in a can. But it's an indication of obviously where Beavertown are now heading with all of their releases.
Yeah. I was doing a bit of a Google over the last week or so, trying to look this up to see what people have been saying about it, and I saw the reference to the barley wine or champagne thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Interesting. It's a shame that it's not slightly bit lighter and slightly sour. I think if it had a little touch of sourness to it, it would be really nice.
It's getting very sticky and cloying now.
Yeah.
And it's becoming quite a challenge to drink. And I mean that hasn't been in the glass for long. And like I said, maybe something just a little bit lighter would make it maybe just a touch more drinkable.
Yeah. Do you remember the cider crossover beers that we did from Harvesting last year?
Yes. Yeah.
It slightly reminds me of that. It doesn't quite work. I think if they pulled the apple back a little bit and brought out the sourness, a little bit more, it would be spot on. But saisons don't always have to be sour, do they?
But then it's kind of says it there on the tin. It's a Bramley apple saison.
Exactly.
Shouldn't be surprised that it's overwhelmingly apple. I think. But yeah, I mean, decent enough beer and a good shout for the flavour of the month. Really, I'm sure it's still available in many good stockists, including the guys that are supporting this little spin-off for us, Little Leeds Beer House.
Yeah. What other beers that have been released recently?
Okay, so 2 others that are probably worth a mention for this month. Brewdog have released Elvis Juice version 2, which is their citrus IPA, which they released back in the summer last year. They've changed the recipe, dialed it up a little bit, pulled in a few of the flavours. That's available now for people to try ahead of it going into a full release later on in this year. And probably the big release of the month has been Magic Rock Grand Marnier Orange Chocolate Stout Bearded Lady into cans. So this is Magic Rock's first limited edition canning run. The cans even say on the side of them, which I spotted today and I was thrilled about, number 7. So for those of us that have got that little collector's gene inside of us, you remember that all of the big special releases that they've done before have been numbered. So going back to the very first Unhuman Cannonball, and the last Unhuman Cannonball was number 6. This is number 7 in the series. So those are the other 2 big releases this month, and it's worth keeping an eye out for those and giving them a go as well.
Indeedy, and a big thanks to the Little Leeds Beer House for supplying this month's beer and the beers going forward for the rest of the years. flavour of the month. We'll be doing one of these, as I said at the top of the show, every month. Whatever beer just happens to take our interest. And we'll try and keep them a little bit varied. It's not this month's release of Cannonball every bloody month.
Oh, really? Can't we just see if they change from batch to batch? Okay, all right, no worries.
So check out the Little Leeds Beer House at littleleedsbeerhouse.com. And if you're ever in Leeds, drop in, because their selection and their shop is amazing. It's just a tiny little shop, but great selection of beers and great folks up there at
Absolutely.
Leeds Beer House. This is the Beer O'Clock show. We're going to be back with season 9, our Belgian season, the season that Steve's been looking forward to ever since we started doing this thing. We're going to be back next week, released on Friday, so be sure to keep a lookout on your podcast feed for that. Until then, Stevie.
It's been the highlight of my month.
And mine, literally, because it's the only thing we've done in January.
Exactly.
Right, until next time, buddy. Bye-bye.
See ya, mate.